What's going on, guys? Got another comic book haul video for you. Most of these books I got for $1 a piece at a store in Lexington. It's about an hour away from me in Louisville. It was called A Plus Comics and Collectibles. They've got two locations down there. This is from the second one. I showed off some from their first location a few videos ago, but these are all from their second location. They've got about, I don't know, 20 long boxes full of dollar books, so I go down there every couple months to check it out. They don't flip the inventory too often, but I was able to find some cool stuff this time. I'm going to start off with a little mini-series, Angel and the Ape. This is a Phil Foglio mini-series. Again, he's one of my favorite artists from Magic the Gathering cards, and I was pleasantly surprised to find some comic books where he did the artwork for. So he did the pencils for this whole 4-issue mini-series. It was kind of a, I guess, a reboot of this Angel and Ape. That was a series in the 60s that ran for, I think, 7 or 8 issues, and then this is from 1991. So we've got all 4 issues here. There's 1, 2, and 2. So the story's pretty funny. It's about Angel is a private investigator, and Ape. Well, I guess Ape's he's a private investigator too eventually, but they find the ape in Africa when Angel's a little girl traveling with her father or something. So it's very tongue-in-cheek, very funny. It's a quick read, good read. The ape's grandfather actually ends up turning out to be Grodd, the super gorilla from the Flash series. That's where I know him from the TV show, and then I guess he was in the comics too. But I thought that was kind of cool. That's him. That's Grodd's arm there, grabbing Angel by the. Oh no, that's not Angel. That's Angel's sister. Athena, who is a part of a superhero group called the Inferior Five, and her superhero is called Dirty Bunny. She's got kind of like this Playboy bunny outfit as her costume. You can see the ears there on the cover. So it's pretty funny. Like I said, very tongue-in-cheek. One thing that was cool in this issue 3 I thought was very interesting. At one point, Angel goes into like a hallucination or something powered by this Green Lantern thing, and the way the layout of the panels works is in the foreground here, that's Angel's hallucination, and then in the background there's a fight going on. So she's hallucinating this middle part, and then this is what's happening, and while she's what's going on around her. I just thought that was a pretty cool layout design, panel design. You see it goes on for a few pages, so that was really cool. So Phil Foglio doing some really cool stuff there. So like I said, this is only a 4-issue miniseries, so I was happy to find all those for $1 a piece. Next, we've got Crossfire and Rainbow. This is another miniseries. This is issue 2. Issue 4 is probably the most famous one. It's got a Dave Stevens cover with Elvis on it. But this one was cool too. It's got you can see the Marx Brothers on there. And it's got some funny stuff inside with them. They're hired by a pharmaceutical company to poison, like aspirin, basically. So, really interesting story. And then I'll show you one really funny joke that Groucho makes. So the female character here, her name is Rainbow, obviously with her hair and stuff. And you see that line. Groucho's looking at her butt saying, and then Rainbow says, "What are you looking for back there?" And then he says, "A pot of gold. There's supposed to be one of those at the end of the rainbow." So that made me laugh out loud when I was reading it. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Pretty good. Next, we've got a manga news watch. This is comic book size, but it's a magazine from the, let's see, what is it? Copyright date on there, 1993. So it's kind of a magazine about the Robotech comics. There's some, just kind of the manga that they were converting, I guess, from the Japanese mangas into American comics. I like the Robotech cover. This is the Robotech that I remember watching when I was a kid. The cartoons, they were based on the Macross Japanese ones, and they called it Robotech in America. That's what I watched. That's what I fell in love with. So anytime I see kind of Robotech stuff, I'll pick it up if it looks interesting. This looked interesting just because it was like a magazine, and you don't really see these too often, so I grabbed it. It's got Rick and Lisa there on the cover, I think was their name. Yeah, so happy to find that. Next, we got Gears of War number 23. I think this is the either last or second to last issue in this Gears of War run. These later issues are hard to find, so I was happy to find this one for $1. It's got some spine damage on the side, a few spine ticks and everything. I don't know if I'm going to sell this or not. It sells on eBay for like $20 sometimes, but I think I might start trying to collect this run. I was at a flea market last week, and they had a bunch of the issues for $1, but I didn't pick them up because I just haven't decided whether or not I want to collect this personally or just get these later issues and try to flip them. I might just try to do both. So I do have like the middle part of the run, 8, 9, and 10 or something like that. There's 3 issues. I think I've showed a few of those off before that Jim Lee did the covers on, so those are cool. I did like the Gears of War video games. I played those a lot on 360. So I may try to collect this first run. I'm not sure. I definitely want to find number 1 because Stephen Platt did the cover of that one. It's not a really representative cover for Stephen Platt because it's just the Gears of War logo. It's just a gear with a skull, I think, in the middle of it. So you can't really tell it's Stephen Platt by the art style that he did that. So that's the only one that goes for more than. Well, no, that's not right. This one goes for about $20 too. So I guess the first issue, and then the last 1 or 2 issues go for about $20. So I haven't been able to find the first one in any dollar bins, but I have found, like I said, I found this one and then a couple other ones. So I may just start picking those up. Who knows? All right. Next, we've got Seduction of the Innocent, number 3. Now, I wasn't aware of Seduction of the Innocent until recently. So this comic is from the 80s, but it reprints some of the stories that were in the comic books that were featured in this book called Seduction of the Innocent. It was a book by I think he was a psychologist in the 50s or 60s, basically saying how comic books were corrupting the youth of America and everything. You know, it was what video games were doing before, you know, video games. It was rock and roll music, and it was comic books, and it was video games. So, you know, whatever the older generation doesn't understand, they always think it's corrupting the current generation of children. So that was part of this. So Seduction of the Innocent was a book that this doctor wrote, and he pulled examples out of a bunch of comic books and said, you know, these are bad, and corrupting the innocent, corrupting children. And I think that led to the creation of the Comics Code Authority, because it was kind of like the ESRB, the Entertainment Software Ratings Bureau from the 90s. So Congress called all the game developers and said, before Congress, to testify and said, you know, you're ruining the youth, so you guys need to start reining it in or create a rating system, or we'll do that. You don't want us to get involved. So I think that's similar to what happened in the 50s and 60s with the Comics Code Authority. The publishers, I guess, created the Comics Code Authority, and then after that, you would see the stamp on all the comics that they would approve or whatever. So there was less adult-themed stuff, I guess, after that. So I picked this up. I'd never seen it before. A lot of those books, the comics that were featured in that book, Seduction of the Innocent, those go for a pretty penny, not just because they were featured in the book, but because they're pretty old. They were all from the 50s and 60s, and it was all pre-Marvel, like superhero stuff. I think there might have been a few superhero books in there, but it wasn't like, you know, Captain America, Superman, stuff like that. It was mostly horror books, like this one on the cover, and like true crime or crime books that were violent and everything. So this reprints a few of those stories, and this is a a 3-issue mini-series, Seduction of the Innocent. So, I don't know, I think it's just kind of a little cool thing to collect if I see them for cheap. So this is the first time I'd seen one, so I snagged it. Next, we've got Alpha Flight 62. This is just a cool Jim Lee cover. He started around 51 or 52, and then did basically, I think, 20 issues after that, all through the 50s and 60s. So I'm just slowly trying to piece those together. This is the Purple Man. I don't know if this is the Purple Man from the Jessica Jones series. He made his first appearance like in Daredevil, one of those early Daredevil issues from the 60s. So this might be him, I'm not sure, I haven't read it. Looks pretty cool though, just classic Jim Lee art. Next, we've got Battle Chasers #1. This is the second printing. So this is in not great shape. It's got some damage there on the spine. And this is how I pulled it out of the dollar bin. It wasn't in a bag or a board or anything. So #1 goes for, I don't know, maybe 20 bucks or so. I'd never seen the second printing before, so I snagged this one. I was never into this series, but I do like Joe Madureira's art. Or Joe Madureira, Joe Mad is what he's called. He's got that definite 90s style of art. It's more cartoony, I guess, than the Image guys. Kind of more like J. Scott Campbell, and he was with Cliffhanger. To him, J. Scott Campbell, and somebody else I can't remember right now off the top of my head. They were Michael Turner, maybe. Was he in Cliffhanger? I don't think so, but he could have been. They were in the Cliffhanger. It was kind of an imprint of Image, I guess, with those guys. This Battle Chasers I think it got optioned or something recently, or I don't know. It keeps picking up heat and then dying back down, and then picks up more heat. So the only one that really goes for anything is #1, I think. Maybe 0 too. I'm not sure, but I've never seen this second print before, so I snagged it. Excuse me. Alright, next we got Thunderbolts 136. This is a cool Matina cover. Now this one was never hot, but it might get hot. Eventually, with the Hawkeye show, they had Yelena Belova on there, and she had this outfit on. This is on the last page, this weird, like, six-eyed outfit. So, for only $1, why not? I like that Thunderbolt series. This is right after the, excuse me, right after the Warren Ellis run, so I may try to piece this together. I like the Matina cover a lot, and I think he did a bunch of those during this run. So I may start trying to pick those up. Next, we got another mini-series. We got Abyss #1, and excuse me, sorry guys. Abyss #2. These are based on the movie from, I think it came out in 1991. James Cameron movie. Probably began his fascination with the underwater world. Of course, he went on for Titanic, and then Avatar. I guess the second and third movies are going to take place a lot underwater, I think. This was kind of his first foray into the underwater world, so kind of cool. It's a really good movie. The director's cut's even better, so if you haven't seen it, definitely check that out. I've never seen these before. Not sure what the artwork looks on the inside. It's not great. You got Ed Harris down there in his Yankees cap, so that's pretty funny. Doesn't look like Ed Harris, but that's who it is, so happy to find those. Next, we've got Whisper #15 and Whisper #16. So I picked these up. These are early Bruce Timm work. He did the colors on both of these. You can kind of tell, especially on this one here on the left, #15. That definitely looks like Bruce Timm work. Not too sure about 16. He's listed as the colorist. I'm not exactly sure what that is because it's got someone listed as the colorist and as the inkers. So maybe he colors other people's inks, so he like retraces the tracers. I'm not sure, but I like Bruce Timm, so anytime I can find his early work, I'll snag that. Alright, next, just got kind of a cool parody book, Samurai Squirrel, Master of the Sword. Again, this is probably more of a parody of Usagi Yojimbo, I guess, because he's by himself. It's not a Samurai Squirrel team. So it's not really a parody of the Ninja Turtles, but I love picking these up, so it's just good times. Alright, next, Piers Anthony's Incarnations of Immortality on a Pale Horse, number 3. That is a mouthful. So, Piers Anthony's a fantasy writer and fantasy novelist, I guess. I read the whole Incarnations of Immortality series back in middle school. It was a really cool series. I'm not much for fantasy. I mean, I read Lord of the Rings. But anytime I try to read other type of fantasy, it just doesn't grab me. But this was kind of modern day fantasy, I guess, and not really fantasy in the sense of like wizards and warriors and type stuff. This whole series is about what they're called the incarnations, I guess. So we have death, you have war, fate. It's kind of the Greek gods. So the shtick is that those kind of roles like death, those are taken over by a mortal, basically, and it's kind of like an office that they have. So they're only occupied for a certain period of time, and then somebody else takes over. So the whole series is about the new people taking over these new incarnations. So this On a Pale Horse was the first book. It was about death. He's back there, obviously. And the artwork in this is really cool. It's all painted, so it's got a cool look to it. I think they only ever adapted the first one. It must not have sold very well. But I'd never seen it before, and this is issue 3. And the cool thing on it, it's signed to Dawn the Best, Mike Okamoto. Excuse me. And Okamoto, he was the guy that did the art on that Celestial Mechanics book I showed in one of my last couple of videos, so I thought that was kind of a cool coincidence. So, happy to find that. Next, we've got Next Wave, Agents of Hate, number 6. This is just that 12-issue run that Warren Ellis did. I really like it. I think I've got 7 of the issues now, so I read the first few, really like it. It reintroduces Elsa Bloodstone, I guess, into like the proper Marvel continuity. But really like Warren Ellis, so I was happy to find this in the cheap bin. Next, we got Johnny Quest number 11. This is just a cool Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Dave Stevens did a Johnny Quest, I think 5 or 6. It was really cool on this Comico run. So I saw this Sienkiewicz cover, very distinctive style, of course, so just snagged that. Alright, next we've got some more 80s goodness. A-Team number 2. Mr. T going after a sumo wrestler. Looks like they're on a giant trampoline. That is probably not the case, but it is awesome seeing Mr. T fight a sumo wrestler, so I was happy to find that. Okay, so that was the last book from the dollar bins out of that store in Lexington. These next few, I went to Destination Comics and Pop's Comics here in Louisville last weekend just to pick up my new books and do some shopping while I was there. In the back issues, so that's where these came from. This first one is this is a current IDW Ninja Turtles run. This is number 89. It's just past the holidays, so kind of appropriate, I guess. Splinter here decorating the Christmas, or standing in front of the Christmas tree with the pizza ornaments. There's some shuriken and some sais on there too, and some maybe a little Tonto or something stabbed in there. So it was pretty cool. That one was $2. Got Usagi Yojimbo, The Hidden, number 3 is $7. This one was cover price, so $4. This is just a little mini series from Dark Horse when they had the Usagi license, so I hadn't seen it before, so I just snagged that. And then another Usagi. This is number 1 of 6. This is Senso, another mini series from that Dark Horse run, so just snagged that. And let's see, classic 90s book here, Wolverine 75. Got that sweet hologram card on the cover. Beautiful, beautiful. Picked this one up for $5. I think this is after Magneto rips out the adamantium skeleton, because it happens in X-Men 25, and then I think this was the next issue where his bone claws start to grow through. So I think this is, I don't know if that's a Joe Mad cover, or it might be a Teixeira cover, I'm not sure. But let's see if it says who's on there. Oh no, it's an Adam Kubert cover, sorry. So, and it's one of those fold out covers, so Wolverine in obvious pain with his, but he's still got his adamantium claws there. I guess maybe he just ripped out the skeleton. He didn't rip out the claws, but the claws eventually, the adamantium claws eventually come out, and the bone claws grow through. So, very iconic book from the 90s, and you know, it's got that beautiful hologram on it. So, how can you lose? All right, this another one from Destination. This is USA Avengers. This is #1 variant. This one was cover price. This one was $4 too, and this has just got the Red Hulk on there. This one goes for about 40 or 50 online, so that's why I snagged it. I thought I recognized the cover, and then I looked it up, and sure enough, it goes for that. So I'm gonna try to flip that one either now, or there's rumors that Red Hulk's gonna be part of that Thunderbolts crew they're trying to introduce into the MCU. So I'll try to wait a little longer. Alright, so the last couple books here are some Kevin Eastman goodness, non-Ninja Turtles Kevin Eastman goodness. This first one is Fistful of Blood, #1, and #2. So Eastman, this is the subscription cover for #2, so he did the cover on that. That is not an Eastman cover, but he did the interiors on all, the whole interiors on both of these issues. So I was really excited to find these. These were $5 a piece. These came out about 5 or 6 years ago. So initially, the Fistful of Blood series was featured in Heavy Metal Magazine back in the early 2000s, I think. And the only place you can really find that is in these hardcover collections. Those go for over like $100 or something online. So I'm not going to pay that for those. But if I can find these single issues, I'll definitely pick them up. I just started looking for these, so I found them pretty quick, so I was happy. They did this is a 4-issue miniseries. It's a take kind of on Fistful of Dollars. The protagonist here, she doesn't talk. She hasn't spoken at all in these first 2 issues I read. She just kind of wakes up in this town. It's set. The town was a set for a popular Western TV show, and now it has become overrun by 2 factions. One faction are the zombies, and the other faction are vampires. And then, so the protagonist here, she just kind of is pitting the 2 sides against each other to her own ends, I guess. So it's pretty cool. Happy to find those. And then the last book is another Kevin Eastman book, non-Ninja Turtles. This is Zombie War #1. This was from the mid-90s, I think. This was only a 2-issue miniseries. It's about all the, like an alien wakes up all the dead people basically on Earth. All the cemeteries start get reactivated, and then and they become zombies, and then start killing everybody. So it's an interesting concept. I read this first one. It was pretty funny. Kevin Eastman did the interior art on all of that as well, so that's kind of cool. I just love seeing him do non-Ninja Turtle stuff, because basically all he does now is he does like the alternate covers to the current Ninja Turtle run on IDW, and then he'll do like some variant covers sometimes for Marvel. I think he did like a Thing cover recently, which wasn't that great, but just like his own work, like this Zombie War and that Fistful of Blood, I like seeing that stuff. So I was happy to find this. This one was $7. So none of these really go for anything online. So hopefully I can find them all for cover price or a little bit more. So that will do it. That's the last book, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again soon.